Coming to you from the life of traffic. We out here in Waterbury on the Highway 84 bugging out. My car is really fast. It's okay, so I can get out of the way of cars. But, well, I don't even know if that was pointing at me. But, go into the shop. It's a rainy bitch today. Gotta get to the bottom of this damn new F20B. I'm excited to pull it apart. Excited to show you guys me pulling it apart. So let's go to the shop and pull it apart. Alright, so I have moved the two boxes of the Prelude wheels back here. That's here. Now I'm gonna set this thing up on a tripod and I will get working on this thing. First thing you're gonna want to do when doing any bullshit like this, drain the damn oil. So got your 17. I push on the oil thing like until it's like loose, and then just see. So there was still oil in it. Look at that, no oil on the fingers. You know, push on it, pull off. So after that, the obvious next steps would be to grab. If you don't have one of these, a ratchet is fine. You know, I've been there. I worked on my driveway for like 6 years doing coilover jobs and shit to make money, but 10 mil just friggin' buzz everything out. Now putting these valve cover bolts back on, if you're doing a reassembly, which I'm not, the stock ones on H series, I don't know about B, but B, D, K, whatever, I don't know about any of those other ones. I never had them, but they like to strip out. So much so that I at one point had 2 bolts holding my valve cover on, so I had to buy some nice billet ones from eBay. And what I do with those when I tighten them is I'll get a little 1/8 inch ratchet, put my hand right at the head of it, and when I feel like it's like stopped, like there's too much resistance, that's tight. Once all those are up, get yourself a little screwdriver. Sometimes these grommets are a pain, but for the most part, they just pop right up. Once that's done, valve cover comes off. Doesn't seem to be too dirty. Pull the front part of this cover off, which is cracked. Set it right here. Now it comes off, okay? Make sure you take that stupid grommet off. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is release the tensioner, which is this bolt, which is a 10, and this bolt, which is a 14. So, just to give you guys an idea, the only bolts, or the only sockets I've used so far are 10 and a 14 and a 17 mil wrench. And that was to drain the oil. So once that's off, you should feel there's significantly less tension on the belt. And you should be able to, it's still a little tight, but you can still pull the belt off. There it goes. Piece of plastic just fell off. So now, take the head off. Pretty simple. There's a bolt right here. So take this off. Take all these 12. Then you take off these 2 10s. And then this cam retainer cover thing. As I take this stuff off, I probably use like the more difficult, I would say, probably method. I don't really label anything. I just kind of place it in the orientation that it goes. So now, these 2 10s right here, 2 10s on each. I use a little screwdriver in like the parts that don't matter, but a little dead blow hammer, which I don't have, will also work. So exhaust. Now all of these you could just pick up, and I put these in between. So that's the orientation of everything if you're looking at the engine this way. So that's how I do it. You can label, I would recommend probably labeling like intake and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then label these as well and like put the arrows going that way, but this is the orientation of how everything here goes. I seem to have missed one thing on the head that would have held us back. So the 312s on the thermostat housing. That's it. I highly suggest using a 6-point for as much as you can. So 1, 2, just take the bolts out. 3. That's it. And then the water neck, I'm just gonna leave there because we're just gonna pull this straight up. It's like I thought, huh? So important thing to note, this will save your life right here. Now the head bolts and all these holes right here will differ from whether you have a US engine or a JDM engine or a Euro engine. If you don't know what kind of engine you have, it's right there on the front of the block, right next to the tranny, because you can see this one is an F20B. But if it says H23A with no number next to it, it's also a Euro engine. If it says H22A with no number, JDM engine. Just make sure when you're doing this, you know. I'm not sure for B series. I would assume it's the same, but the head studs on JDM and Euro engines are 12-point. All the US engines, such as the H22A1, H22A4, those are all 6-point. And I know when I was expecting this because on my first Prelude I had an H23A. On my second Prelude it was a VTEC model, so it had the H22A1. So my first Prelude was a Euro H23A, so an H23 with VTEC. And my second Prelude was an H22A1 USDM market. So when I went to go do the head gasket on my US market H22, I was like, oh, I already know this, it's a 12-point. Put a 12-point on there, strip the bolt. I thought the world was over. Ended up getting it out with a turbo socket. I'll save you guys the headache. Confirm the head bolts before you do that. I know it sounds like common sense, but they're in a dark hole, and you just kind of, if you've done them before, you just kind of throw shit in there. And obviously, this isn't going to let you use a 6-point socket, but a 12-point socket will fit on a 6-point, and you could strip them. So I'm going to take these head studs out, and yeah, it's really all there is to that. I'm going to need another piece of cardboard because I don't want to put this heavy head on my hood. Now once all those are loosened, just zip these up. That's it. Pull the head up, bring it over here, put it on your cardboard. Real nice. Are these the stock pistons, dude? Alright, this is a little confusing because these stock, I mean, I know they're 11-to-1, but damn, like for stock pistons, this is some shit. But damn, dude, these are some cone pistons. Look at these. These are some freaking high compression pistons. I've never opened up an F20B, but neither of my H's look like this. Then again, the H is only 10.5.1. This is 11-to-1. Alright, so once you have thoroughly destroyed the floor with various kinds of fluids, I tried doing the cardboard thing. It wasn't good enough, and had to use some Speedy Dry as well, but turn this thing over, be prepared for a lot of fluid to come out. All of it didn't drain out of the oil pan, just letting you guys know. And now you have about 610 mil bolts to get out of this oil pan and then pry it up, and then you can get to the bottom of it. There's definitely metal in here. 100% there's metal in here. So I guess we'll take out all the rods and pistons together and see which one has the damage and see what the crank looks like. Once you get in here, you have your 2 10s, 2 more 10s right here, 1, 2, 3, 4 more 10s, and then this plate will come off, and then you pretty much have access to the rods. That comes off. That will go in the oil pan. You should be able to get everything and push it out without removing this girdle right here, and I'll show you that right now. These rod bolts are a 12.10. These should be able to come out. I mean, the crank's spinning, so it's not, you know, it's not horribly destroyed. So that's that. That's one rod cap. That bearing is not spun. This is a good bearing. And you just go ahead and push this down and catch the piston off the bottom. There that goes. Rod and piston, rod's in good shape. Piston looks to be in good shape, I guess. I did find out that there was one spun bearing, and how do I know that? Well, you look at that one, smooth, smooth, cylinder one, smooth. This one, there you go. So that journal's porked. That's not the bearing on there, that's the journal. If you come over here and you look at these, you know, relatively good. That actually still has the bearing on it. Some of them fell off into the oil, but whatever. But you come over to this one, and this one looks like it got a little hot. So that's the bearing. See how it's black in the middle compared to these? Chunked up by the journal. It's not even the right shape. It's worn out. This thing was knocking like hell, and they kept running it. No oil, that's what that is. And the reason that that happens, and I'll explain that real quick, is because the oil pump is here. So the first bearing, the one that I expected to spin, is always going to be the farthest from the start. So cylinder 1 will get good oil. Cylinder 2, cylinder 3. But cylinder 4 is the last one to get oil, and that's precisely the one that's spun. Now the rod doesn't seem to be in bad shape. You can tell it got a little hotter, but it's not scored or anything. So if anything goes wrong, I will use these as the replacements, and then maybe even send this one to the machine shop. Like, what are they going to charge me to do one rod and match a bearing to it? It's gonna be no problem. Not bad. And then here's the pistons. This is what I meant by, like, when I was like surprised that these are stock pistons. I'm assuming they are stock pistons. I don't see why they wouldn't be, but it's just weird. I've never seen a stock piston that has like a freaking, like the cone thing, high compression pistons. But there they are. The pistons seem fine. The rods, even the only rod that would have been affected is this one, and it's dead straight, so should be good. But I mean, it's good to know which one is bad and which 3 are good. But obviously all the pistons are good. There's no scoring on the piston at all. So we can get these cleaned up and put on a shelf, and they will be awaiting the F20B that's in this thing's demise. And yeah, so this is how I lay everything out. Intake side to exhaust side, middle, 2 cams, obviously intake and exhaust cam. And then you got your pistons, 4 to 1, and that's that. Oil pan stuff's in the oil pan. Head and head gasket are right here in this cardboard. Pretty easy stuff. You're gonna make a mess if you do this with any engine, but hope you guys enjoyed watching me taking this apart and kind of dissecting this blown F20B. So not as blown as I would have thought. I thought that like this rod was gonna be completely porked and unusable, but interesting to see the piston design, and awesome to have some spare parts if anything goes wrong in this, because like I said, this shit expensive. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm out. I gotta go to Callie's house. I gotta grab a bunch of tools because I actually am filming tomorrow, because I don't know if we're working on her Z or her Subaru, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna be doing something to her Z because she has a drift event coming up. It's Women's Drift Day drift clinic, which is dope because that's gonna be a lot of seat time for her, and it's on May 11th at Thompson. So anyways, I'm out. I'll see you guys next time. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.